anywhere. Stay right there. This is Over 50, So What? I'm Carol. Fun, fitness, wellness and inspiration. Starting with wellness, previously we've looked at flotation therapy to help with stress, anxiety and sleep. Today, Dr. Michelle Whitewood is going to discuss how you can incorporate flotation therapy into your regular health and fitness routine. Yes, of course, we've got the 5-minute fitness segment, and you don't need any special clothes. I could do it wearing this, you can do it with whatever you're wearing. Just join in. And lastly, I suspect there are some single people watching the show today. A lot of us over 50 find ourselves single. And Brian and I are discussing our thoughts on how you can more effectively communicate using the online platform, and also just in those initial dating conversations. So let's see how we go. Have you ever thought about including flotation therapy or floating into your regular wellness and fitness routine to enhance your overall well-being? Previously on the show, we've talked about some of the myriad benefits, your mental, physical and emotional health, all being benefited by flotation. And we're joined again today with Dr. Michelle Whitewood. Now, Michelle has over 25 years experience as a registered doctor in traditional Chinese medicine, and based at the Water Temple Flotation Centre, she's an authority on floating. Michelle, welcome back to Over 50, So What? Great to have you back here.
Thanks, Carol. This is a wonderful opportunity to share flotation therapy.
Now, we've talked quite a bit over the last few months about the benefits of floating, how it's really good for mental, physical and emotional health. And it's something that really should be incorporated into an individual's overall wellness program and maybe fit in with some of the other practitioners. Can you comment on how you might incorporate floating into your wellness routine?
I can, but firstly I have to say I'm biased. So I fell in love with floating from the moment I sat in one of the tanks. And I do believe that it can be incorporated to benefit of every individual, unless they've got an allergy or something. But when you are able to relax the system that much, both physically and the brain gets time to rest, then so much actually other things happen in the body, and that enables the body to sort of regenerate itself. And when people can start relaxing, and it has a cascading effect in other areas, and also it doesn't just last while you're floating. When we've talked to some people, you check in with them, it's the next day that they go, oh, I still feel really relaxed. So, I approach my day different, or I wake up clearer, or this has happened. Then it is a worthy therapy to incorporate into your weekly, monthly lifestyle. Even though the 3 pillars of health are exercise, diet and sleep, we exercise in various forms. Some do high intensity, some are gym junkies, some yoga gurus, people like their Pilates, other people are cycling. I like swimming. This actually helps with any form that you do, and if you're in physical pain and you go to a physiotherapist, or you go to a chiropractor or a masseur, all of those things are enhanced and made easier with floating.
So what are your recommendations in working in with another practitioner?
Well, when I talk to other people in the street and High Street, because High Street Armidale's got a whole lot of big health community nowadays, then we recommend that they have a float often before their manipulation, because they're more relaxed in their body and it makes it easier for the practitioner to do their adjustment or work. And if they're having sort of physio to repair and they're doing muscle isolation, and I talk with Pilates instructors, then they get to focus on that area that they're in discomfort and do their exercises actually in the tank as well.
Oh wow. A lot of people watching the show might have a bit of arthritis or a bit of joint pain. So
that's a common, autoimmune disorder that a lot of people, as they get older, and it's happening now in younger people, and that's inflammation in the body. So whether it's arthritis or fibromyalgia, then they're in constant pain, and it's about pain management more so in this day and age, as well as looking at people's diet and what exercise is most appropriate.
In terms for me, what helped me a lot was getting on top of my inflammation, which floating does by no gravity, and also helping with my sleep.
When you're absorbing magnesium into the system, that also helps reduce pain, and that's been, Epsom salts in itself has a long history associated with pain relief. And when you remove all pressure from the spine because of the weightlessness sensation, then you're improving the blood flow to the extremities. So all of those things contribute to reducing pain.
To start off with, you've recommended that a new person commits to like 3 sessions.
Yeah. The benefits are an accumulation. I think with 3 floats, you're actually going to get a much better understanding and idea of what floating has, the potential of what floating can help you do.
And you're going to feel more comfortable because you know what you're doing, and it's not a strange new experience anymore, and you can really fully relax into it.
And you'll get immediate change in sleep or how you're feeling without trying to cloud or have expectations there. You will feel more relaxed.
Is there anyone who can't float? Like some people may be thinking, I'm a bit overweight, don't know if the magnesium's going to support me in the water. Is there anyone who can't float?
The only people that wouldn't be able to float is if you're sort of like 7 foot, because our tanks aren't that big. But we've got guys that are 6'8", so they're okay. And with a weight condition, then no, the density of the solution, and the gravity is checked basically daily, so you've always got to have that density and an awareness, though weight is never an issue. I think if there were medical conditions that you would check in with your GP, some people talk about epilepsy, because there is the lights, if they leave them on, and they're not flashing lights, but there's that changing colour in the lights that is an option, and you medicated, you've got to check in with those things as you would with a swimming pool or doing hydrotherapy.
And groups can come in, families can come in.
It's really good to do groups, whether it's a team for work or a family that they come in, and so they all come in and float and then go off and have a meal together or throughout their day.
If it's your first time, you could bring a friend. It's
beautiful to bring a friend and share.
Yeah, float together and then share your experience afterwards over a coffee, since you don't recommend coffee before the float.
I don't reckon coffee at all.
All right, we won't go there. We are in Melbourne, it's coffee society.
I know, and there's one there next door, and there's 5 across the road. It's just like, ooh, which blend do you want?
All right, to finish off with, can you just tell everyone your top tips and recommendations as to why they should start floating?
Well, magnesium's got untold benefits. To be able to unplug and feel where you are in your world, and I think it's sort of like when I was swimming this morning, what came to me was you're reconnecting with yourself and to your own rhythm, and you have that ability to calm your own system, and it's actually really comforting to be able to hear your own heartbeat and your own breathing and know that you're in control. And people with anxiety, they often shallow breathe, they'll hear that palpitation. But when you're in a tank, you can actually realize that you can calm your own breathing down.
And you'd have a very diverse range of clients that come in.
Totally.
So you mentioned night shift workers, you'd have executives, you'd have... athletes.
All of that realm, you know, you've got retired people who are in their 80s, 70s. I find that when you can reduce any emotional or physical pain in someone's system, then there's no downside.
Beautiful. Well, thanks so much for sharing your expertise with us today.
Thank you for the opportunity, Karen.
I'm a floater for life. Today we're going to do some bit of shaking, bit of hands. That's what we're going to do to start with. And hands. Hands. Shake it. That's it. On your feet. Now stepping to the side. Side. Together. Side, together, side, shake it, side, shake it, shake it, that's it, shake it. Now we're going to take the feet apart, we're going to go lunge to the side and drums. If you're not too flexible or too fit, you can take your feet closer together, like this. Otherwise, take it out. Hit those drums. A few more. Last one. Okay, step to the side, side, shake it, side, shake it, shake it, side, shake it, side, shake it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a step forward and back. So we go like this, step forward, push back. Step forward, push back. Step forward, push back. Forward, push back. Forward. 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 If you're not too stable, just take a small step like this. Back. Step forward, push back. Step forward, push back. Step forward. Shake it. Step onto it, push back. Onto it, push back. Onto it, push back. Onto it, push back. Onto it, shake it. Forward. Forward. Again. set, and hit those drums. Okay, come back to the middle. Step forward and back. Now you should be getting hotter and hotter. Repeat after me. I'm hot stuff. And we have a chat today with Brian Richmond, who, having been single for 12 years, is going to share his tips and strategies for maximising your success in the dating scene. Hi Brian, great to have you on Over 50 So What?
Great to be on the show, Carol.
So let's say you've got a nice smiling photo, they've got some interests that you've got in common, they've written in their profile some nice, maybe some fun comments about themselves and their attitude to life, and you think, well, maybe they don't have any negativity in their profile, and you think, oh, I think I want to meet this person or carry this conversation on a bit more. What do you do to send that initial message? What's the initial message or contact that you do online?
This is an important one. I think what happens with a lot of guys, if they see a nice photo, bang, they'll click. That's it. As long as the lady looks all right, it's fine. What I think is very important, particularly for the guy to do, is mention things in the lady's profile, things that he liked. It could have been whatever it was. It could have been she loves going to the movies, and for him to mention that as well, which shows that he has read the profile right through.
That's absolutely on the money from my perspective. Someone sends a message, an initial message saying that, you know, I can see you like snow skiing or whatever, where have you been skiing, something linking into the profile, and you think, oh, he can put a sentence together. You know, he's read my profile, we do have something in common, maybe I'll respond back.
Yeah.
The thing that people do though, from my perspective, and they won't get their message opened, is they just send a message saying hi.
It's a little bit more we need than that.
So that seems to be a common mistake that people that I receive from males. They just send a message saying hi, or they say, how are you? And that's it. And I'm thinking, you've never read my profile. We haven't got anything in common. You don't know how to put a sentence together. You can't start a conversation. So I'm not going to go any further. So what's your idea on that?
Well, I think that's a common thing, and that happens with ladies and females too. That happens on both sides, where that's what it'll be. Hi, like your profile, whatever. But you've certainly, it was a good point that you mentioned something about the profile. Gee, I love snow skiing as well. Love to chat further about that. There's standard answers, like when you do send an interest, it could be like, I think we have a lot in common. Things like, gee, you've caught my eye. Would love to chat. There's standard first messages. Then if the person you're sent it to likes your profile, yes, I'd love to hear from you. That's when you respond with a little bit more information about her profile, the things in her profile that was interest to you.
So now we've sent that message, I like your profile, and then they've responded back, yes, I find your profile interesting as well. And then you start the conversation, I see you're interested in skiing, or, you know, going to the library or whatever it is, and you start this conversation. So you start talking to each other, and then what do you do, Brian?
It's important to, when you are interacting with someone else, to listen to the other person and ask questions.
So you're doing this by message, right? How do you go from messaging each other to and from? What do you do with the messaging process? When do you introduce your phone number? Is that because that's the next step?
For me, after a couple of texts, I would say, look, we do seem to have a lot in common. I'd love to chat to you over the phone and see if it will take us to perhaps a potential coffee or even a glass of wine, then I would send my phone number. If the texting has gone okay, there's usually a positive response there.
So you send your number and then the lady will ring your number and you start talking on the phone.
Yes.
And what do you suggest for talking to someone for the first time on the phone?
Lots of people are quite nervous about that. That's what I feel when I talk to other people, particularly ladies who are a little bit nervous about that. To me, it's never been a nervous thing. It's an exciting thing for me. It's meeting or interacting with a new person. And for me, I've always found it interesting to find out about the person I'm talking to. And that is, as I mentioned before, asking questions. Well, obviously, we've contacted that person because we've got something similar. So let's start off with maybe the conversation would start with the things that we've got in common.
I believe you think that men need to listen more rather than just talk about themselves. Can you expand on that?
Guys are normally very competitive, and that's the way guys are. That's the way we're brought up since we've been little kids. And I think what happens out there is that guys generally think by telling the lady what he's got, how much he earns, what he owns, whatever will win the lady. And they end up controlling the conversation. So at the end of the conversation, she knows all about him. He knows nothing about her. I think the general rule of thumb is that guys learn to become listeners.
I can concur. Females definitely like people to ask questions, or a man to ask a question, because I've had many experiences where I've been chatting to someone, but it's been a one-way street, and I've come away thinking, well, they're not interested in me at all, because all he did was talk about himself. He never asked any questions about me and my life, and wasn't interested in me.
That's exactly right. He thinks he can win the lady that way, that he can impress her by what he's done, by what he's got. So that's false thinking by the guy.
Do you have any other sort of suggestions about do's and don'ts when you're chatting to someone new on the phone?
We don't go into our past relationships of what happened in our divorce, and the whole idea is that for it to be light and for it to be fun, so that you'll come over as a likable person, and the person you're talking to will want to meet you because you're a fun person.
So we want to look for a current photo that it's showing you looking happy, it's been taken by somebody, not you looking down at your phone. We want to have, all your interests actually there, so you can see whether the person looking at your profile can see if there's anything in common. You want to have a nice light written profile that reveals a bit about your personality, all upbeat, all positive. And then when it comes to messaging, like you said, we need to ask questions of the other person, show that we've read their profile rather than just going, hi.
Actually.
Thank you so much for coming on the show, Brian.
Pleasure.
I know it can be challenging to find yourself single later in life. It's time to get out there and make some new friends. Just watch this show and we'll give you lots of ideas of places to go and things to do where you're going to meet people of a similar age. And of course, you can always go to Dr. Google and find singles groups near you. If you'd like to start floating for health and put it in your regular fitness and health routine, just go to our website carolohhalloran.com and you'll find some information on the Water Temple Flotation Centre. Please join us on Facebook and YouTube. Over 50, so what? Keep connected. We'd love to hear your dating stories. Let us know how you're going. Keep active, keep moving, and get out there, get amongst it. I'm Carol, over 50, so what? Thanks for watching our TV show. Be sure to hit subscribe and then you'll never miss an episode. Jump on Facebook, join our group, get in on the fun, fitness, wellness and inspiration. I'm Carol, over 50, so what?